What?
Very nice to hear you back.
Yeah, I trimmed that whole thing back there. I need more time flying and less time working on this pond. That's what I need if I want to be a moorer. Now, I'm always a big believer that life is nothing but an adventure. I come up every Friday to see my mom. Of course, she's getting old. She's almost older than me. But what we decided to do, now this of course is baby Putsy Turtle. He's been known as Putsy Turtle, an official stunt turtle. They have a swamp in the back here, and I think my niece is going to take care of him for a little while. He hasn't been happy in our pond. Now think of this poor guy. Think of what his life was. He was crossing a street one day up by the circle burner field. Jeez! He was at the circle burner field. Think of this for a minute. This is really something else. He was at the circle burner field. He was minding his own business, walking across the street. He says, "What the hell is this? There's nothing but cars here." Boom! Cars almost run him over. So I figure I'm going to be a big hero. I try to save him. And we still don't know if he's a snapping turtle or a garden turtle. See, one foot has claws, and one foot has webs. So we don't know really not sure what the hell he is. But those are pretty mean. If he was big, I bet those claws would look a lot meaner. Anyway, I was going to take him back to the club field today and release him, but you're right by a main road there, and I'm sure he's going to get squashed. Every year in front of the club field, we see many turtles that don't make it across the road. So what I'm going to do, in the backyard here, this is my mom's backyard where my sister and my brother-in-law live. They have a big giant piece of property here, and they're up in the marshy woodlands. They have horses and everything. So we're going to release them into the pond right here in Franklin Lakes when my niece gets home. Think of the adventure. And I guess it's like the Wizard of Oz, where all of a sudden he got swept off his feet. All of a sudden he's in a pond for 2 weeks. Then he's in a garbage can overnight full of water. What the hell is going on? I want to go back to Kansas. So the wizard is going to put him back in Kansas as soon as my niece gets here. Poor baby. Don't let that turtle by me. I eat turtles for lunch. Anyway, we're getting ready to release the turtle back into wherever my niece is going to be in charge of that. And actually the neighbors here have a pond too. Now, how many people do you know have a pet wolf in their house? Look at this wolf statue. Ma, how old is this wolf?
Huh?
The wolf. He came from Oklahoma or something?
He came from Kansas.
Kansas. Jim Lee's pet wolf. Here's what happens. My mother likes soap operas so much.
Get my dog.
She throws me out of the house at 12:30 when the soap operas start. We gave this guy a bath. Now, come on, I'm the best son anybody could ever want, Ma. Come on. Look at that baby. But boy, as soon as the soap operas start, she says, "Well, it's nice seeing you." Look, I'm getting shushed.
She's trying to tell him.
I'm getting shushed.
To be a friend.
I'm getting shushed. I can't believe it. Look at this. Look, this is what happens when you get old. See what a great son I am. I went and having so much fun with birds, I went and bought my mother this little bird feeder. And we sit in the morning. Now, there's no birds in there now. We got 2 of them here, and they sit on this one and spin around, and they haven't figured out yet that this one doesn't spin so much. Not too bright. And there's little Mama's garden here growing away. What are you going to do, keep them in a fish tank?
I don't know. Well, just for now until we see.
Yeah. Put them in there. I'm sure he'll like it. Yeah, I'll put him in fish. Yeah. He doesn't bite or anything. Just grab him.
Little guy.
He doesn't bite so far. What is this, a turtle condo?
There you go.
I bet he likes that better than a garbage can. When he was in the pond, I couldn't tell if he was a water turtle or not because he's got webs on his back feet.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't look happy, just put him in the wet area behind the house.
Yeah.
You know what he'll eat too? Lettuce.
Really?
Yeah, I put lettuce in the garbage can. It's not in there this morning.
He's so cute.
He's definitely cute.
I guess he doesn't like the water. He's in the dry part.
Yeah.
Take that as a hint.
My mom must have some lettuce. Put a little bit of lettuce in
Yeah, I'll
there.
get some lettuce for him and stuff.
Judy must know. Look in the book, or you could call up a pet shop and see if you're going to keep him in a tank.
Yeah.
That's good the way you have it, where some part of it he can get in the water and. But boy, when he was in the pond, Paris, I swear to God, it took me 2 hours to catch him. He is you put him in water, he swims faster than the fastest fish in the pond. And he goes up and down and does loops and everything, and you can never find him. The only way I found him, I had to take all the plants out of the pond. He was hiding in the biggest plant, one of Karen's big giant plants. Anyway, have fun with him. I'm going up to the flying field.
All right.
See if anybody. Look at this, it's like a goose crossing.
Always that time
Come on.
for a real good cigar.
Come on, move. Jeez, look at this.
And the genie came out of
Go.
the bottle. Said, tell me, what do you desire? I thank God he found me. Then let us surround me.
You believe this?
Beautiful women. And a real good cigar.
Can't even go flying without running into geese.
Give me a real good cigar.
I almost just got goosed. All those geese down the road, they attacked my car. Holy man, what a day. Turtles, geese, and da-da-da-da, Larry Scorinzi. Hey! Hey! Who else is here? Hey, Pooch. Hey, you want to eat a turtle? Did you see the fox yet today? Yeah, who cares? So now where? Wow, Kit that. Do I get to keep the red hat yet? What is this now? This is Banjock. Look at this, Banjock and Zambelli. Well, Zambelli, who? I'll make sure he never sees this.
But I gotta wear it to bed, never take it off and all.
Wow, they don't even give me a hat. I had to buy it. All I get is free Steve DeJulia t-shirts. Anyway, Banjock, good publicity. What does this say? Where does this paper come from? Uniontown? Where is this, in Pennsylvania?
That's Carmichael's, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Population dropped to 407. It was 408, but one guy died.
A guy died, huh? Banjock killed him. But how many turtles do they have out there? Speaking of turtles, Banjock looks a lot like a turtle. Getting a little fat there too, Dan. Anyway, hey. Did Banjock win? Who won the contest?
Shit, I don't remember. I think he was ahead of me. That's another condition. I can't beat anybody that wears a red hat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those Philly Flyers, the red hat does it.
Here, you want this?
You get a parking ticket if you don't get a plane. No, there's geese.
This is still alive.
I know. This is the plane. Tell them the story. This is the plane that killed my '88 concourse winning climb.
You hit me.
Ah, listen to this
You went
bullshit.
in one circle, I was in
Yeah, lying. If you're lying, may your silk turn checkerboard. Hope the dog pees on your plane.
Where's your airplane?
Oh my God, I got it. I was just up having breakfast, lunch with my mother. Then I get thrown out of the house when the soap operas come on.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yesterday was real nice here?
I don't know. I was working on my pond yesterday.
Oh.
I had a pond day. Pick this guy up. I haven't seen. This is the ignition one.
Yeah.
This is the cardinal killer. Haven't seen him up close.
No, this is old. I mean, it's
Yeah.
he'd talk about a lightweight.
Yeah, I'm heading. No, I'll pick it up later. I'll pick it up. Oh, look at the little hatch on the bottom. That's
That's
cool.
for the batteries.
Yeah, of course. Shows you what I know. Y&O prop, or is that a repro?
That's a
Oh, that's a
repro.
repro. Okay. Got the ignition thing going there.
Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't run it this year, but it should run.
Cool.
It's well, if you know, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's its first incident was with your plane, and then at our 25th.
It's had more.
Yeah, at our 25th, it shut off on me.
Oh no.
So I had to glue it back together. But
Oh
glue
God.
it back together.
This one still looks good. All your stuff still looks good. What am I talking about? How many coats are clear? 50?
A ton.
Anybody can't see this. Believe me, the finish on this is this top level. That's the only way to put it. Beautiful. Now, if you were really cool, you would have the checkerboards that, as it should be black, it would be white. It would be the opposite where the numbers are or something. You got to come up with something high tech here.
Well, I can't do it all at once. I have to do it a little bit at each time.
Yeah, look at, you can see the lightning holes in the outboard tip. Look at the workmanship on this. Beautiful.
The fun of that is silk too. The black.
Yeah, and the checkers line up with. Tell them how they do that. The checkers line up top and bottom too.
Yeah.
Even Windy can't do that. It's too cheap to buy silk.
All it is patience.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
patience.
That is really a work of art. I love that thing. You've won the Spirit of. Oh, I brought the trophy home for you that year at Tanats. I didn't get any trophy, and he gets. Who needs this guy? You know.
I've gotten 2 hats, and I've gotten an award at both of them for 2 different planes.
Yeah, yeah. These really are the cream of the crop of old-time stunt that I know of. I don't know about the guys in Tucson, but these are really beautiful.
Thank you.
You been out to Tucson, or?
No, I'd like to go someday.
Yeah, well, that'd be show these things off. Anyway, they're beautiful. Looks like it's a flyable day. I got some props to test. I got my 5-bladed props. What's the air look like? Yeah, it could fly.
It looks good.
Looks flyable anyway. Beautiful OTS. Notice how the checkers even line up with the edge of the sheeting. Yeah, I know. I looked at this real close one time.
They come a little off. You can't help it.
Come here.
They come a little off on
Rick, come.
Is there a little mistake at the trailing edge here?
No, it's just that
No, they look pretty.
the width is not perfect.
Jeez.
See right here, you can see the spar.
14, and she
Oh, gee. Better give me that
No, it's
plane.
even.
Better put it right in my van right now.
It's even all the way.
Yeah, this thing is really nice, though. Boy, oh boy, beautiful. Go out to VSC and show it off. Looks great.
When you look at it, you know how much time went in.
Oh, I know how much.
Here, and this yard is silk. All right, now it's the 3rd panel over.
It's got the same imperfection every 3 ribs.
They'll knock you right down for that.
Oh, man, Mike Cavell's going to jump on the plane. That's
Any
it.
imperfections you see in one panel, you'll because I was able to get, I guess, one yard that came off right after the other yard.
Wow.
So when I did that,
Now, did you get it out of the same silkworm's ass or what? What the?
I don't know. I wasn't there
A
for
red
that.
silkworm, huh?
I wasn't there for
Oh,
that.
boy.
They got blue worms and red worms.
Blue worms.
To make those squares.
What I wasn't sure if I could do though was butt silk. You know, the red silk to the black silk. You can do that. You can butt it. You know, without a.
It stays.
You didn't cheat and use an incline or
You don't see
anything?
an
Oh,
incline.
that has got a lot of lacquer on it. Man.
Yeah, no incline.
That's all dope, though, right?
Yeah, just.
Yes, light coat?
Yeah, light coat. Super coat, light coat.
Yeah. You know how many guys there are wish they could put a finish like that on a plane?
Anybody can just sit there and paint.
Just hire you. Hey, by the way, how's your hand?
Good.
Hands all healed up?
All heal.
Wow.
It's not right, but I can use it for work and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Painting is the least of it is that goddamn sanding.
Yeah.
Sand and sand.
And this is brushed.
That's a labor. That's all brushed, too.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love, boy.
That's the old way. You built it the old way.
It's the only way I know I'm an old.
Doug, the truth is I have one brush that's about 20 years old that doesn't lose hairs. Somebody borrowed it, gave it back to me, now it loses hairs. I go down to the art supply store, $27 for a 1-inch brush. The second coat of dope, it's losing hairs.
Yeah, it takes quite a few coats before they stop losing.
Oh, yeah, of course. They lose hair. They stop when there's no more left.
No,
Oh, man. What's the secret to having a brush that doesn't lose? You put CA on them, or?
No,
I tried that. That doesn't work. I tried epoxy. That doesn't work.
When you get one that doesn't lose hairs, after you break it in,
There must
Don't
be
hold it
some.
out.
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly. Don't give it to your friends. Unfortunately, in my life, that.
Around the wing and tail, Doug, or is that silk too?
Huh?
The black
no,
around the
that's
wing.
paint.
And the tail, that's paint.
I'm sure he used an incline somewhere in here to hide some. The duck's beak
No.
is an incline or
No,
something.
any place silk but silk, there's no incline.
What's a good thing to use for that real small gusset between the wings?
Larry, years ago when you had the combat jobs, they used to use silk on
I
combat
used
jobs, right? Like
Light.
voodoos and stuff. I remember that.
Yeah.
4-bolt Fox. Man, I'll tell you, when you're into it, you're into it. You got real Vico wheels on it? Oh, Dave
No,
Brown.
This is not the right landing gear.
Dave Brown. Oh, my God. Get them
This is
off.
my practice landing gear.
I'll-
I have a regular landing gear with banners.
Doug, Doug, I'll give you.
Next week I'll have the right landing.
I'll give you a set of Vico wheels. You're breaking my heart
I
here.
got banners. I got banners for it. These are just. I don't want to wear out my banners, so I use these when I'm just fooling around.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, what up? I'm glad I never do stuff like that. Come on, get it flying. Bullshit is cheap. Now, is this really an old fox, or is this like you put extra threads in the heads and stuff?
No,
And
it's an old.
you made one of those,
Nope.
I know you don't cheat. But the wheels gotta go. Doug, you really
A
gotta...
good friend of mine sold me this motor for about $7.
Wow. These are hard to get, even for the collectors, huh?
Hey, Wendy, the guy's so honest, you offered to give him a refund after all these years.
Ah! Hey, how do you like that bear? And bear came in a woman's backyard, took the bird feeder, ate the bird feeder, turned it over, threw the bird feeder up. It's in today's paper.
What town was that in?
In Oakland or something. There's bears in these woods too. Can you believe this? Boy, this is the longest get ready to fly operation I've ever seen in my life.
It hasn't run in a long time.
It sounds good.
Oh yeah.
One's no good, I'll swap you a new one.
Yeah, I'll give you a nice...
It's salsa water.
Boy, oh boy, you're not drinking alcohol on the field here today, are you?
No vodka? Pick that thing up.
I'm afraid to pick it up. Oh my God!
I was in the middle of it.
Wow.
Stand for the television and I'm in the middle of clamping it.
Doug, I'm only staying for one flight, so you gotta have a Nats winner. I'm gonna focus in on the wheels on inverted flight.
By this
What would you say, 40 ounces, Wendy?
Oh, everyone. You know.
Sure.
Yeah, but everybody I know, the minute they retire, there's one thing for sure. Every single person, the first thing they say is, well, I wish I did this sooner. Why did I work those last 10 years? It's true. All the guys that left Ford when I did, they're better off than I am. One guy owns a bagel shop. He's making more money now than he made working for Ford. Boy, this Doug, this guy, he could set the world's record for screwing around before we get... I'm going to lose the air before we get this flight in. One flight, Doug, and that's it. No, I was never there. This is in Staten Island, Brownies.
See, they have...
He's a speed flyer, right?
See, they have chairs out. That's my wife. We're all sitting there drinking coffee and eating cake.
I like that. Do they have go-go girls inside?
No, that's across the street.
Yeah, I've met him at the Nats
I
many
got some
times.
crowded pictures of that.
Now, explain to me who's in the picture here. This is your wife.
Mary Brown, that's my wife. That's the dog. And this is, what's his name?
He's got old... Now, what'd you do? Just drive out to Brownies?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a long time.
Jeez, I never was out there.
That's the store. Notice the new...
Yeah, it looks like John Missed Cellar.
Well organized.
I think he needs a few more items to put on a wall. Look at this place.
That's something.
It's
Look at the corridors. You can't. Two people can't pass in those. There's a corridor here and one over here. That
Yeah.
Two people can't pass.
Staten Island.
Right by the Bayonne Bridge.
There's George. Notice two people can't get by.
Really?
The Bayonne Bridge, not the outer bridge.
No. Does he have a lot of old stuff for sale? Or?
That the one?
He's got a lot of old stuff. That's
I know
the
they
house.
fly speed, so they must have a lot of...
All speed. That's the building next door is his own house. It's full. The whole house looks like that.
Wow.
You'll see a few.
I gotta do John Miss's house some night. Boy, he's got stuff down
I
there.
don't think you can fit in it anymore.
No. Can you walk in the
George
zone?
around. He's a
Yeah.
speed flyer. See all the airplanes?
Yeah, but the motors they have, all the speed motors.
Oh yeah. Well, he's got a lot
Wow,
of
look, this is the machine shop?
Well, he's a retired tool and die maker.
Ooh. So he's really good with all these machines, too.
Absolutely.
I mean, making a Venturi is not a problem, right?
No, he can do that pretty easy.
No,
Do that with a soda straw.
Yeah.
Kind of neat, isn't it?
Fantastic. Now, this is
That's
from
the
Brodax?
Yep.
Okay, explain to me, who's who here? I can't
Well,
see.
you know, there's Taffender. You got your eyeball
Dog,
on
yeah.
things.
No, I can only see through the lens cap.
That's Taffender. That's John
Bobby
Brodak,
Hunt?
Bob Hunt. What's his name? Mike Gorman.
Okay.
Dave Braun, who really did a lot of work in that contest.
Okay.
He's a speed, racing kind of flyer.
Yeah,
mostly.
yeah.
You know him?
A little. Yeah.
Then you know. Then, John Brodak, Taff, Dave.
When did you go out? Friday?
I was there Wednesday, I think.
Oh, it is George?
Aldridge signing an autograph on somebody's wing.
Okay.
Bill Langley or Bill Mazzoni. I don't know what his name is this week.
Yeah. He doesn't know. I think he's trying to avoid paying income tax.
Daryl, what's his name? From Somerset, Illinois.
Yeah.
One of the red hat guys.
The Philly guys all went out there.
Philly Flyers. Oh yeah. Oh, they were in force.
This looks like a nice field. Was it all mowed nice and everything?
Beautiful. It's better than this one. You know, they cut it like 4 times.
Yeah.
You could take off with any airplane with any kind of wheel pants.
Even with low wheel pants, yeah. Oh, it looks great. Now this is Carrier?
Carrier, yeah, that's all Carrier there. They have those racing events too.
Yeah.
I hear an engine in the back. I feel funny being bent over with my rear end in the target area.
I'll give you the chance as soon as I get the rest of the pictures. I want to go fly.
That's just a view across the field.
The field looks beautiful.
It's really gorgeous. This gal Sandy did a hell of a lot of work. She did an awful lot.
She's from out there?
Yeah,
one of the people
his
from
people.
okay.
He has a number of the people.
He's such a nice guy. It's unbelievable.
They're really neat. You can see he's a nice guy. He treats the people right, and he's got good people there.
Yeah.
And you know who that is.
Yeah.
Kyle, Daryl's son, anyway. That's mine. That's Bob Hunt.
Now they had old time and classic and
my car is right there.
a major attraction.
You don't look very interested and excited about that, but this shows.
There's a nice pole if you get bored. You could fly.
I could take care of that. This is the house. This shows the whole area. The house.
Okay.
The backyard. There's a swimming pool there. There's a garage and workshop here. So these are where the cars line up, but it's bigger than this field. There were 4
But this is
circles.
actually his backyard.
This is his backyard. The flag is right there.
I mean, it's like you go down to the local pub. Look at his house. Beautiful.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
Yeah.
And that's the Nobler they introduced there.
Okay.
John and George.
And this is one of George's, or?
That's the original Nobler.
The original one.
They just made a kit out of it. John.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Great.
And they're just released now.
And that's George?
Yep. And that's John. Neato, huh?
Fantastico.
That just is the most fun of any meet,
Anyway, thanks for a little look-see at the picture. I'm going to give you a chair back.
No, wait, you got to look at these.
More. Now, whose is that?
Oh, well, I hate to brag, but that's George Aldridge, Ginger, and I forgot who he is, and that's Mike Garman.
Okay.
Virginia Beach. That's the Philly Flyers.
Yeah, I know. They all went out there, I know.
Well, that many at least.
Not a bad group, I'll tell you. They're a cute group.
Very much fun.
You never have a bad time when they show up at a meet.
They're all good. Everybody that went out there was in really a great mood. I didn't hear one bad word. That's one really great run contest.
Even Gary had fun. Gary, you're okay. I don't care what Larry Screenzy says about you.
Who's that guy?
Gary Lutz. He's from Maryland.
Okay.
He's a very good finisher. He's been really working on his finishing for a long time. That's John's wife?
Yep.
Whoa, what a pool. Look at a pool. Can you imagine you go flying and then you go jump in your pool?
Jump in your pool, yeah.
I go to the car and throw a bottle of warm water on my face. John, we need a pool at the Circle Burner field. Take it and give it to us. I'm sure he's going to... Yeah, we got one, except the turtles pee in it all the time. Oh, John, I wish I lived in Pennsylvania. You're breaking my heart. Yeah, we don't want to see that.
Wait, that's a good one. That's me. You got to look at that one. See the turnpike entrance right behind me?
Yeah. What exit is it on a Pensy Pike?
10.
Then you want to...
10? Well, what's the exit in Philly? 215 or something?
Larry, you want Windy? You want...
No, if you have diet soda, I'll sneal. Oh, what a man.
Peanut butter cup ice cream, my favorite. When
Oh, my God.
I had to eat 2 of them.
You should have ate one for me.
That's hard to find. That's one of the rest stops coming back.
Is that trains in the window? Oh, no, that's a reflection. Okay. There's that place on 87 that I was thinking about. Roadside America. That's nice.
This is the one that hit the pole.
Yeah. Do you want to confess right now on video? This is a full confession.
Pole was too tough out there.
Well, move it.
I tried.
Yeah, I know you tried.
Look, there you are.
Try doing it by hand instead of with one of your planes in the future.
What is that? The remains of
Boy, wait till he reads about this in Stunt News.
All I have is 13.
You have to fly again. I was looking at Larry's pictures.
This is the guy's
Right,
building that we're out there.
Squeeze it a few times. It needs a few nicks and dings. Looks too nice and
I
clean.
gotta put my rings on?
Yeah, get your Mike Rogers rings. Initiate this thing. Too pretty the way it is.
Drone diesel.
Yeah, where's the drone?
Jimmy sold it to somebody else and Rob would have.
Steve White?
Yeah.
This was Jimmy's old plane, but it has Super Tiger. This is the one that hit the guy at the club field.
Yeah, I'm the guy.
Who was that guy?
Yeah, you're the guy, huh? I was rooting for the plane. I got news for you. Boy, this is like old-time heaven. What is... Oh, man, this is unbelievable. I come up here looking to do prop testing, and you got all the old farts in the world are here.
Yeah, everything here is 30 years old.
Or more.
We're excluded with you.
No, I'm not excluded. But you're definitely running castor oil and automotive white gas, mobile.
No, I just use 87 octane gas.
Oh, 87.
What
Prop-
brand?
You,
This I have used Sunoco and this happens to be Amoco.
Oh, you got to use white Amoco.
It's not white.
yeah,
Remember they used to say that?
Yeah.
Though, on white
Well,
Amoco.
that was lead free.
Yeah.
lead-free. That's the reason. And no the 70 weight oil fouls the plugs, and castor oil doesn't.
That you use today, yes.
Wow, I bet there's a lot of guys don't know that.
They learn it fast.
You remember years ago,
Most guys are using either 5% or FAI fuel.
remember Przicki had like a Max 35 or something he converted to ignition? Remember that? And he was trying to run gasoline and all kind of stuff in it?
No.
He had an ignition thing they put on the front of the engine so it was and a spark plug, an ignition OS Max. But I don't remember if it ever ran good or not.
Yeah, right. I was just going to say that. The rocket has one.
How old's this engine, Doug? Is this a real old one or a repro?
No, this is an old one.
This is not a...
47.
This is a real 1947
Yeah, I
engine.
think-
Boy, we are in old-time heaven here. Everything is old. Can't believe it. Let's put it this way, there's nothing new here.
Even the people.
There's nothing even mediocre here. You need a guy at least 60 and preferably crippled to hold this thing while you start it. Yeah, you're going to need your earplugs. Notice I'm not standing on the ignition side of this thing.
Not gonna make a lot of noise.
You bet.
You're on the opposite side of the moon.
This runs like a top, though. I've seen him run this before. Ignition on. This could be an old World War I biplane or something.
See, I remember some of this stuff. Maybe 49s are in good ignition. They're a good ignition system.
Yeah.
It's like a dark horse. The Atwoods are good ignition stuff. So is that.
Keep him appraised of that, Larry, at all times.
I wonder why he disconnects the battery when he...
He's a coward, is why.
Stupid.
He's a coward. Takes the battery wire off. That is the loudest That's louder than my old bull taco.
You can hear it.
Holy mackerel.
What'd you
Woo! Yeah, Sonny, what's up?
What prop set, Doug?
13.6.
That is a macho.
It takes 2 men to hold a handle, too. Well, did you pick up that airplane?
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Doug,
Yes.
what'd they do to make it a 65? Put a bigger piston?
No, stroked it.
Oh, it's a stroker, man. Even like a BSA, even better.
Yeah, you would think they would have done it with bore, but I gave them the borers.
Vic, you mean?
Yeah.
Vic Macaluso?
Yeah.
Well, you compete? Where are you, like at the Jimmy Casal level or what?
No. In the state, I'm number 1. In the region, I'm about it's broken into age groups. In the region, which is Maine to Virginia, I'm about number 7 or 8.
Well, that's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know, but Vic doesn't compete. I thought Vic was a big,
No, he doesn't compete. I called him up this.
Yeah, I know he's real good.
He skis open water, and I asked him. I told him, I said, if he wants to try a slalom course, to come on up to our place.
Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah, he's got a nice boat. We've been down to his house when they were doing some work on his boat. Beautiful. Cheap too, very inexpensive.
What's that?
Vic's boat.
Oh.
Very inexpensive, especially the maintenance.
You mean he doesn't maintain it?
No, he's in his driveway. They were working on it. Beautiful boat though.
Yeah,
Old time stun heaven, you.
His own lake for water skiing up in Sussex.
Really?
Yeah.
He's like the John Brodak of builds his own lake for water skiing. That's pretty good. Build my own pond for turtles. He was telling me one time up by they had a lake where the guys were fishing, and they took an ironing board and put a Dynajet on it, and stood in the woods and fired it up and just threw it into the lake. It scared everybody that was fishing a half out of their underwear. It's supposed to be a true story.
Your box, Doug?
You need a battery? I got extra battery. I see you got a can of brake parts cleaner there. That's an excellent
That's
thing.
to clean the points.
Yeah. We were using that to clean solid lines at one time until Nat Gifford found out it takes paint off. He was spraying it in the air. Well, no, the brand he had then.
Oh, yeah, there's different brands.
Yeah, he had, like whatever was in it that was paint remover, combination paint remover and brake parts cleaner.
Yeah, there's different kinds.
Yeah, old Nat, he was a little embarrassed. He had little dots on everybody's plane that was pitted near him. He was out spraying his face and everything with it.
This is stuff. What happened is we used to get this kind at work, and I tried it and it worked.
Yeah.
Then we start getting some of the another kind that
like
didn't
the
work.
cheap brands have acetone in them or carbon
What I
pet.
did is I.
What's in there? Is there ingredients on the can?
Yes.
What does it say on the can? Yeah, no shit, don't eat it. These idiots put it on.
Contains.
Idiot EPA
I can't read
people.
all that stuff.
Contains something like a dinosaur, carbon dioxide, trichloroethylene. Contains chemicals.
Chloroethylene is in everything.
This product contains products known to cause cancer to the residents of California. Well, don't move to California. In Jersey, you're safe. No problem. Use all you want. Let's see what it looks like. This is Jetgo anyway. I like to try this on solid lines. I'm not flying solid lines today, but
Well, another thing. Jetgo makes 2 different types. The type we're getting at work now is in a green can, and that takes paint off.
Oh, no. I got to have
So what
something
I
that
did is
doesn't...
when I knew they were switching, I scoffed a couple cans.
If you're in a pits spraying your lines down and you get this all over Ted Fancher's plane, he'll be mad, believe me.
Carbon tetrachloride we used to use.
How about that plane? And he had nothing to put in it, so I gave him a Fox 59.
This is better. We could have our own contest today. All the old-time stunt planes are here. Fox 59. Not exactly a one-flip start, but this is unmuffled too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. All right. we're getting some props out to test. I'm all set up in the back. And you really can't do much testing. In fact, I've been putting so hot here, putting a rag over the plane. Keep the pilot from overheating. And they're having really a great turnout here in the old time stunt sport event. This is one of Larry's hot Russian motors, $300 combat motor. Okay, got a few flights on this already and it's still underpitched, but I'm keeping in mind that this is a motor that's really decompressed. Also, it's 96 degrees on my little thermometer that's in the toolbox, so we're really up in the ionosphere here. So I'm going to take this guy off. Now what it does, it gives me a good opportunity. This is the prop we originally started with on the plane. I have that one marked already. Had that in Massachusetts. And I can go right through my two blades now without even putting a spinner cone on, one by one, mark which ones are on the fast side, the slow side, with all the little different carvings that I have in these props. So this will give me a good chance. It's really hot. It's a good day to do this. Now they got a drone diesel over on the back circle. And man, you can smell that fuel over here. Unbelievable. I can't even keep up with this stuff. They're really having a great time in a little privately funded old-time stunt meet there. Drone diesels, ignition stuff. It's been a good day. What I do is after I take a prop that's been tested out, I put the spinner, the back plate, all the little notations from the flights that I've had today. What this prop needs is one of two things, is either just a little more pitch, which is very easy to do if I want to use this motor, or on the double star, just run it with one head gasket and it'll probably be a relatively good high RPM setup. But I want to get back to doing my two blades. That's what I want to go through this row of props and hopefully by the end of the day have the best one on the plane, at least for these hot conditions. Yesterday was really good. We had a real good day. In fact, we stayed almost right till dark. Kind of getting sick of the old circle running field. Well, we'll see if Joe is down in Middlesex. See if we can catch some decent air this morning before the air goes down the drain, as it usually does around noontime. Now, one of the things that was really nice yesterday, I did all the flying with the grass gear. These, you see, I don't even have the invasion stripes painted on the gear yet. These came right off the Spitfire, and they have the bend in for the Muncie runway already. So this might be, I may put the invasion stripes on. I may have a little advantage that they interchange, and I can use the grass gear and that on. You did a good job with the blocks. They interchange. You don't even have to notch them out. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Boeing. Did you see that thing about the V-Stall, the Pogo video? About the Pogo, when they developed the Pogo?
I'm not sure.
I didn't realize that's the world's fastest propeller-driven plane, 622 miles an hour.
Doesn't have pistons, I can tell you.
No, I know that. So, but it's cool. Anyway, I got the video. I thought being you're into the Boeing thing now. All right, let's fly, baby. Not anything wrong with today is this is certainly not going to be a good air day as it usually is in Middlesex. Things are rolling over the trees here and creating havoc. But we do have the props and we got plenty of ice water so we can, I hope, tough it out through what's going to be a day in the high 90s here. They're predicting record temperatures. Not even 9 o'clock this morning. The breeze is already up, so you know it can only get worse. We feel like we live in New Mexico here or something. Anyway, we got the Seafire over in a hangar. Still going back and forth with the props. And it's amazing how just taking props that are totally identical, but one is 1/8 of an inch more diameter makes a radical change. Sometimes more than you can believe. You think something else happened. A lot of times it'll just put enough of a brake on the engine, it'll slow it down, or give you just a little more drive up top. Joe's got one of his experimental props on here, and we'll see what he's been cooking with. But again, this is the way you learn. You learn in the trenches. It's inexpensive. It's very educational. Something if you really want to aspire to be, the king of stunt or whatever, the king of toasterdom, you really need to know something about props and what the variations are, what you can and can't do with them. Anyway, Joe is well into the learning curve, and it's been a good experience for him. How'd that prop feel, Joe?
Well, I know that's a good digger. It's a little bit too breezy for it right now, but that's your calm air. When you got to grind through it, that's a good prop. But I'm going to switch to my big bopper next.
Get that big bopper on there.
That's down 15.
This is a big bopper day, baby.
That's right.
It really is. In an attempt, we're going to try and experiment, in an attempt to try to salvage some good air out of this thing. I don't know if that's going to work. We're going to try taking off and put a mark over on there so we're flying half over the grass and half over the tar. We got nothing to lose. What do we got to lose?
Telephone poles.
Oh yeah, I'll let you be the first one. Okay. All right.
Now this is that chop down big bopper.
This is the big bopper.
And I got it set up so
my God, that's 17.5 or whatever the hell it is.
15.6.
15.6?
Look at it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know where the needle is.
Off the circle. Problem. The trees are growing out into the circle as if the trees are growing out into this part of the circle. And what we measured this off here, I don't know if we put a little rag or something out there. What we're going to do is try flying, and we're away from the trees by about half of the circle. I don't know if the air is going to be any better out there or not. Boy, we are really desperate to get some good air here. I mean, we've got enough prop testing air to choke a horse here. What we need is some air to fly some stunt patterns in. But sometimes this works to your advantage. Sometimes the more time you can get in lousy air when you do get a good day. And actually, the one good day we had was the day at Massachusetts, actually the 2 days of the contest. And they were pretty productive. But now the plane with the shorter landing gear turns a little tighter on the insides. Anytime you shorten the gear, the inside turn will quicken up. Also, going from 2 1/4 to 2-inch wheels is another way to quicken up the inside turn. Bending the gear back is a way to quicken up the turn. See, there's all kind of variety, a variety of ways of fine-tuning a plane. It isn't like in the old days when you built a plane and you just lived with all the inconsistencies. Well, there's pretty much a way of getting around almost every, I shouldn't say every. From the most obvious, like trim tabs, to tweaking flaps, which I'm not crazy about tweaking flaps. I prefer trim tabs, to ray rudders, to all kinds of other things that you think somewhere down the road here we would be able to get perfection or something really close to it. Anyway, Joe has tried his short gear. He's got his short gear on there now. He's got his long grass gear. A plane with only one set of gear is kind of handicapped. By the way, just looking at those pictures Larry Scarinzi shared with us yesterday, John Brodak's contest, a shame we missed it, and I'm sure we won't miss it next year. And congratulations to all the Philly Flyers. Jerry Phelps for a good win. All the guys that participated, and from what everybody says, it was a lot of fun, so maybe you'll be one of the people that want to trek out there next year. I'm sure. Now I know, see, there's a way I can get Karen to agree to go out there as long as it's not on Father's Day. It's easy. I just tell her there's an antique center in Brodakville. So John Brodak and I are going to come up with a scam to tell her there's all these antiques and blah, 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 blah out there. They will find out if we can convince her. But this year, Father's Day, it just didn't work into the plan. See, my stepdaughter has so little time because she's in her own business in the movie industry. We only get to see her really, I don't know, once a month or something. And that was the day that she had set aside to be with us. So I guess the other day is when she comes to do her laundry. She's too cheap to do her laundry in Manhattan, so she brings all her laundry to our house, uses our electricity and gas and fuel oil and everything, castor oil. Anyway, this looks like Joe's hitting some air here. I'm impressed. Now what he's going to have to do, of course, is when we're done with the pattern, get back to the circle. So, but again, if you never try these things, if he flies into the bleachers, I guess we'll have something else to report. The air really was shifty in here. It really is, and I guess if you look at some of the old Middlesex videos, no two maneuvers are in the same spot. It's downright dangerous to be flying, even inverted flight. The plane will just you can see this thing rocking and rolling here in level flight. So anything we could do to make that better is, at least even for days like today, a prop testing day, it seems worthwhile. Love to see the sun shining off that perfect Adamusco finish. This is a flawless plane, by the way. This would certainly be a candidate for any kind of best finish award. That sun is just sparkling and jiggling and everything. Even Ski Dombrowski would be impressed. Anyway, now I'm going to get out of the way. He's going to whizzle back here. All right, we'll see when he lands. If he was happy with that, or hey, we have nothing to lose. In another couple of weeks, the trees will be in the middle of the circle. Carlos, let's get a saw down here. Get Kajeski down here. Somebody will saw these down. Spit is right where I like her, right in the hanger. Out of the sun. That sun does no good. Ultraviolet light and dope are not the best of friends. Keep it in the shade anytime you can. Really good tricks that we've found. Real helpful. Joe's been fine-tuning a handle for this. What is it, a 15.6?
15.6 cut down to 12.5.
Okay, it's to always put a little ink line on the cable. Put it on up and on down before you adjust it. This way, if the cable goes whoop, you don't hit the reset button. You can get it back to where it was. We had a nice big fat Sharpie marker. We don't have it now. I assume it's home. I'd probably put it somewhere else.
This will work.
Okay, now, see, the idea of this is once you loosen the cable, you don't lose your set place. And then just make that line disappear if you're looking for more up or more down, whichever one. Just loosen it up and make that little guy change. That small amount. You can do it in 1/8, 16th. Just make that much of the cable black and then make it disappear into the handle. You know how many times before I did this, Joe? It'd come out, I'd loosen a screw and all of a sudden the cable would go reset time. 10 more flights to get it back to neutral. See, the amount you want it to change, like I usually go about a 16th at a time. Just make that line a 16th and then make it disappear into the handle a 16th. Oh no, the baseball team is here. Oh my God. Forget it. All right, you ready? Give that a shot. The hanger queens are in here. Now what Joe's going to do, one of the normal things you would want to try anyway. This is a much larger, thicker, heavier prop than what we've been running with the rev-ups, and he's kind of convinced there'll be some future in this. What we want to try is up the head. You got 2 head gaskets in there now.
Take one out.
Take one out.
24,000. So I'll
right.
one start
Right, and even more significant change in that would be if you had that same muffler with a bigger tailpipe opening. That's a 350 in there. If you had one with a 375 or 380, something like that.
That's a 3/8 hole, whatever that is.
3/8.
Yeah. Hey, just try it, man. That's all. I think.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying a lot of times when you want to turn a much bigger prop, getting rid of the back pressure is significant. Now on this guy, because I'm down in the 12-inch range, I got 2 of the holes blocked off in the muffler. I don't know if we've been flying this with 2 holes blocked off. I have 2 screws in there. But when I go to more and more diameter, more and more engine heat, we'll definitely get rid of one or both of them. That's for sure. Anyway, these are just some of the variations you can try. And it's always good to do these kind of test things on a day that's kind of like today, where it's borders on being unflyable. And save the good air for when you can do low bottoms and fancy pullouts and stuff.
14.5 that I modified, or 14.
Yeah.
But I gave that to Pete, and he's flying the shit out of the Cardinal, man, and he's
good.
Having a good time.
Now what I do is, if it's a real hot day, this one has a Phillips entry in it, so I want to take one that has a Phillips entry in it. If it's a hot day, this one's never been on a plane before, so this will be a good test. You can see the Phillips entry in the front here, as opposed to one that some of these are D-pitched and have no Phillips entry. Hot air, Phillips entry. Cool air, no Phillips entry. It's a good way to look at it. Now, these are just a little bit more. They start at 12 and go up to about 12 and a half. So what I want to do is just start with one somewhere in the middle and see if I have more than an acceptable amount of GP, then I'll take one click in on the Ray rudder. Because with the 12-inch, I really have a very small amount of Ray rudder. As you get more and more prop diameter, you're going to want more and more of that Ray rudder kicking in. Anyway, it'll be a good day to experiment with this. Now what Joe is going to try to do, and he's run into not a problem, but something. Go ahead.
That's where I want my flap to be neutral.
All right, the flaps are down, the elevators are up. So you want to shorten the down line. The reason I'm showing this is what Joe has done today is put on a new set of lines. Now a lot of people don't realize if you're using a new set of lines, sometimes number one, they stretch and take a set, especially in the ends where you've wrapped them. That's it right there, you're in. That's one thing. Also, where the cable goes through the handle, a lot of times it'll be finding its position and then setting into the soft wood if you have a wood handle, or if you have a okay, let's see what he's got. Give me a neutral again. Give me one more time. Right on the money. You got it. Okay, you're gonna win the nuts. What'll happen is the cable will take a set on those aluminum bar handles where there's a bend in them, and that bend will start to sink in and set. So it's always a good idea on a day like today after 8-10 flights. How many flights we get? 5, 10? I don't know.
I guess. I could count.
Rechecking neutral and zeroing it in. Always a good idea.
Tip of the day.
Otherwise, head gasket out. You're going to have to go out on the needle at least 2 clicks. So no sense even pretending that's not going to happen. Anytime you add compression, you need to open the needle. You put head gaskets in, you need to close the needle. Those are the general ways things work. When you reduce back pressure, if you open up the exhaust, you have to open up the needle. Close down the exhaust, tighten up, or especially put one of those rubber duckies on, you're definitely going to go in on a needle. You're going to add heat to the engine. As the motor gets hotter, it runs leaner and leaner. Always remember to choke on your car. When the engine's cold, it needs more fuel. When it's hot, it runs leaner and leaner and leaner up to the point that you seize it, basically. Like the old Yamahas. Over the handlebars we go.
Yamaha 2.
Boy, I've done that enough times. Okay, all set? Yep. Chance this prop's going to come flying off?
What?
You only had it come off once today. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think.
That's a mother, that
You
prop.
never know with me. That's a big bopper. That's
The big flopper, I like that.
straight paint off your house.
see the hanger queen here. Wow, we're in the jungle, we're in the jungle. Hide those Seafires. Anyway, just some general directions to go in. Now the prop that's on here now, you know, this is one of the new ones that has the double stripes. And it's nice and easy to identify the ones with double stripes as opposed to the old ones. The ones that we were using originally and used at Massachusetts. Now I've already marked that one, of course. This one is 12.5 with a Phillips entry. Anytime I add prop diameter, I'm going to back out on the needle and maybe take one or both of the screws out to relieve some of the back pressure. But again, no better way to do it than start at square one and go through the test. Now see, I don't know if any of these props are going to require a head gasket change. But I know for an example of one of the things that happens constantly is, let's say you have a 12-inch diameter on the plane. And it's just a little weak up top, maybe top of the hourglass. You just want just a little bit more, like the equivalent of one click on a needle. But when you do that to the needle valve, you lose the motor run. You're in that dead two-cycle thing. Like we had one contest where Dan Banjock ran into that problem. And the motor's just two-cycling all that. Nah, you do it with the prop. So you take a prop that's probably, you would like an 1/8 inch, maybe a 1/4 inch more diameter, or with the Phillips entry, and usually you can fine-tune it just like clicks on a needle valve. It gives you the exact same thing as if you were 1 click in, 2 clicks in, 3 clicks in, but you do it with the propeller and you maintain the motor run. You still have the 2/4 brake. You have the effect of braking on the bottom of the vertical 8s and in the bottom of the maneuvers, the 2/4 run. If you ever trade that away, then whatever you've gained is probably not worth it. Now another thing I've done from time to time, and it's not my first choice, is when I've gone to a bigger prop, I've gone to 7% fuel, or in some cases 10. The downside of that is the more nitro in the fuel, the more you tend to lose the motor run. So I like to, if at all possible, do it with compression and propellers and not fuel, if at all possible. Fuel is the last resort. we've gone back and forth and trying several different combinations here, and it seems like for today, for the bumpy air that we have today, the 12.5 with all of the muffler screws out seems to give me the nicest run. Not too fast and yet still solid through this air. I'm sure on the runway that'll change, but at least I have all this, hopefully all this little data in the bank. It's getting late. We're going to put all the props away here, so we really have accomplished a couple of good things. We know we have several choices now that let's hope are going to work in Middlesex and circle burners, and this weekend coming up is the circle burner contest, so should be a good one. Now with the bigger prop, this is 12.5. I've gone in one click at a time. Now I'm at the point where it's just about right. It's actually 2 clicks. So now I have some idea. For instance, at 12 inches and 12.5, I'm really 2 clicks difference. I can pretty well interpolate that at 12.25, I would probably be 1 click in. So it's having that information in the bank. It's just a lot easier doing it now than it will be in the middle of the runway at Muncie when you're French frying and your feet are in frying pans. My other philosophy, always do as much at home or as much in practice as you can, so that when you get to a contest, even a small contest, a big one, you have as little to do. You can kind of relax a little. You can kind of spend time enjoying it instead of running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to find faults or whatever. And of course you always hope that happens, but it doesn't always. Sometimes the chicken gets the upper hand. The final adjustment was really a click and a half for this prop, so I'm going to make note of that for future reference. Anyway, we've tried something and it's worked pretty well here. We've been going back and forth from one circle to the other. Well, I shouldn't say circle, half a circle. But one of the problems is where we are right now, the trees are so overgrown, we're getting a swirly, funny kind of wind here. You can't really hit wing over pullouts. You get up against the trees and the plane seems to just submarine and wing rock and everything. So to try to get the cleaner air, we've been going back and forth, but there really is no answer. It's really not a stunt pattern day. But one of the things I've tried, and I've tried this in the past and not been successful, not been happy with it, and it's my own lack of talent that has made it that way. I've tried, and John DeTavio has given me this advice, so is Audette Amissen, that to improve my intersection on the 8 and the square 8, by the way, that's one of the things Bill Zimmer's always hollering at me at, is the intersection. So what I do is I get to the square 8 and I'm kind of moving around and backing up and moving my head and everything. And what I've tried to do is get in position for the square 8, plant my feet, and lock everything up, lock my body position up, so that I then can look straight out and get a reference for where the intersection is. Now I've tried it 4 or 5 times today and I said, I'm uncomfortable with this, I'm not happy, I'm not comfortable. But in the last couple of flights, it's gotten to the point where it's acceptable, at least semi-acceptable, and I may be making some progress, I hope. I don't think we're going to get to do much more taping. You see the wings rocking and everything. Now here's where you get the funny swirl of wind, is on the downhill pullout, because the wind's coming across, bouncing off the trees and going out there and rolling. Yeah, he's got it too. And we haven't hit a decent outside square or a wing over pullout all day here, thanks to that. But anyway, Joe did get a very good day. I mean, this was an excellent day of testing props for both of us. Some good information. He certainly got it narrowed down to 1 or 2 that he really likes, and I've got my 12-inch one for good air, my 12.5 for crappy air, and maybe we'll settle on the 12.25 eventually, who knows. But to get all this out of the way now before we pack the truck and head for Muncie is such an advantage. Because another thing too that always happens, well, it happens to me, and I'm sure it happens to other people, you get to the mats, you want to conserve your energy. You don't want to be all burned out of energy. You change the motor, change this, go back to the room, change this. Try to get as much of this done off the field, off camera, or under controlled conditions. Now, I don't know, let's see what Joe is doing. see what he's moving his whole body around too. This is one of the things I'm going to be working on in the future is this, see if I can improve it. Jimmy Damerel's always criticizing, giving me some good feedback for that. Several other people have. And of course with the team trials coming up, that's a critical maneuver. The square 8 is almost a contest. And nailing that intersection is a significant gain over just trying to fudge each one differently. And again, next week, circle burner contest. The guys were out there yesterday doing their OTS thing. They always have an excellent turnout. And it'll be a fun contest, I'm sure. That's funny before, I'm sure Joe will remember this. I was right about here in the overhead 8 when the plane went sideways and got thrown toward the ground, and we weren't videotaping it. Some kind of a funny little current of air came flying through that I had, it woke me up. It did better than a double cup of coffee to wake me up here anyway. And I think it's almost time we head out, get a nice big iced tea over at the bagel place, a couple of buttered bagels. Count our blessings, count our suntan lotion. I've been drinking water all day, and by the way, that's a great idea. When the heat gets above 90, you drink even when you're not thirsty. We've both been putting the water away. Okay, this is back to square one
Back
now.
to square one like it was in April.
Okay.
I'm happy with the way it is.
Okay, so you're going home a happy baby
Happy
today.
to be-
All right. Time to wipe them off. Oh, this is the part of the day I love. Head out to the
I want to take a
bakery.
couple extra minutes to clean this baby up good.
Yeah, hey, I got some stuff in the car. I got some Armor All wax. Wait do you see how this stuff works? That we've been dealing with all day long. Not exactly a prime day. Anyway, we want to try this. This is, let's see. Bought this in BJ's. It was $8. Probably got ripped off. What I did, I tried it on the what do you call it, the Seafire, and it seemed to really take all the glock off. Just exactly like Pledge does. The problem with Pledge is you put Pledge out in the sun and it starts delaminating and gets greasy and everything. Well, this stuff really left a nice shine. Again, we're making no claims here, but I'll get Joe to give it a shot. Do one panel and then see if you can tell a difference, you know. Just spray it on and wipe it off. It doesn't haze up. If you miss a spot, it doesn't mean anything.
Okay, we'll do this.
Nice on the rib parts of the wing, you know, where it's, you got a,
That's all there is to it, huh?
that's it. Just wipe it off. Be nice, like for appearance judging, because it doesn't leave any slime on. You know, like if you're doing wax and you miss a spot. Yeah, geez.
This is an excellent cleaner, too.
Yeah, it cleans nice. Now rub your hand out. Once you get it, try to. Leaves a nice, shiny, smooth feel on it.
You don't mind if I take a couple more?
No, do the whole plane. Joe promised filet mignon for lunch, so he gets to wax his whole plane instead of just one wing. You like this thing with the viewfinder real light, huh?
Well, yeah, because it's
Okay. Well, we'll leave it on the light setting.
personal preference.
These professional cameras have a variable viewfinder density or whatever the hell it is. Up till today, we never used it. All right, bagels, baby. I'm gonna pack. And as I load up, I always recommend that blanket, that foil blanket. Keeps all the ultraviolet off the plane, worth its weight in. Now in today's mail, this is from Walt Brownell. Check out the custom colors. Now he sent a nice little note. I'm going to mention this in a future crash repair column. Actually, I'm reading his note here. Use the pigments from DuPont acrylic lacquer, which is pretty much what we've done. Added the SIG light coat. He's watching a lot of videos, so I expect to see he'll be in the front row. It won't even be a big deal when you get there. It'll just happen. Anyway, look at some of the workmanship here. It really looks nice. Now I'll read this out. This ship has a double star 60 ball bearing model, tongue muffler Tom Dixon. Runs it on no pressure with a 13.5 undercambered graphite epoxy prop. Doesn't say which brand. 10% nitro, 20% oil. 5/8 lap times, 68-foot lines. And he says in the letter here that this is the best motor prop combination he's ever flown, and that he will be seeing us at the Nat. So Walt, keep those double stars doubling. Nice little thing on a wing, that horse. Now look real close at this picture. This is from Bill Farmer, who, by the way, is closing in on having his Cardinal kit finished. He was given some flying lessons. I guess he's a flight instructor, but I'm not sure. From the letter I'm reading, it says in the middle of a flight lesson, the guy landed an F-18 there, and of course he went over and said, "Can I go sit in the cockpit and fire it up?" So he got his student to take a picture of him. Bill, I have to tell you, video camera is the way to go here. Anyway, it looks real nice, and I have to say I'm jealous. I wish I was the one sitting in there. Anyway, and send some pictures of that Cardinal kit when it's done. Now Russ is here with his the latest and greatest. And what we wanted to do, if you haven't seen the previous videos, we've tried spraying the filler and making up silver filler on this, and been kind of happy with the way it worked out. There's a couple of spots still need a little bit of work, but basically the first coat of red paint covered that right up. Now what I do, I have a lot of the parts here that needs a little bit of touch-up and handiwork. But what I want to do, I want to one by one take them outside. It's such a windy day. The door is blowing off the garage. Try to get these parts in silver, just see if it's going to need another coat of filler or not. And then using that, if this needs another coat of filler, what I'll do is I'll mix some silver and filler together and then just lightly sand that out. Of course, I'll backmask it. And, you know, this is like an experimental finish. We're really trying to see if we can leave out or cut back on one of the steps to keep it light. We're trying to keep this really, really light. I'm hoping this is going to be a low 60-ounce pattern master. Dude, the wind is really, I don't know if you can see it, the wind is blowing like crazy out here. Man, what? Again, so far this looks like it might be promising. The sprayed silver, the filler is sanded out really easily. And I think this is something we're going to be pursuing on our own, you know, next year's plane and whatever. Can you imagine going flying today? Ugh. Anyway, we're sneaking up on getting ready for the match, so even if we miss a day here and there, it's not going to be the end of the world. And I would like to get this ship done as soon as possible. Get some tests flying on this before the season's over. This should be I'm really looking forward to a really good ship. This is kind of a copy of Bob Barron's plane, and that's winner. And we're trying to keep it down in the low 60s. That's the whole object of this, is to keep the weight down. It's silver. This is just ordinary silver. It has no talcum powder in it, but that went on pretty decent. Not too bad. I'm getting ready to take a break for lunch, and I noticed I had the first water flower. This is I gotta show this, boy. This is a water plant that Karen bought. It looks like a big snake, but it's already got its first bloom of the year. They really do have our first, I don't even know what kind of Botswana or whatever the hell the name is. Anyway, this is nice. We're going to sit out here and have a nice lunch. I'm ready for one right now. Get that paint drying up and we'll see if we can do the mainframe this afternoon. Always good to do the little parts first. For Sunday's project, putting all this red mulch in here. 27 bags of this red mulch. Anyway, salami for lunch. Can you imagine? This is what my boy brings me back for lunch, salami. The whole trick with all of this backmasking is to get as little of the tape touching as possible. I try to leave only 1/8 of an inch. By the way, that silver's covering real nice. So what I'm going to try to do is just get a coat of silver on this and then get some white with extra pigment, of course. Just 1/8 of an inch of tape showing. Try to match it up exactly with the edge if possible. Sometimes that can be a little tricky, but if you don't get a real even line, then I guess what you have to do is get an ink line on it. But it's nice if you can get a nice edge. Now, whenever I get to a corner like this, anytime you have a corner, I just slice it back at a 45-degree angle and then work another piece in there and then tape the seam. Just use the razor right in the corner. Now I can run this piece right up and it gives me a nice even corner. It's always a good idea if you have sticky tape, or just as a precaution, run it up on your shirt. Now whenever you miter this corner, all you need to do is just leave it overlap just a 64th of an inch. tend to get real nice corners. Now, of course, you want to put another piece of tape over that edge. And we're pretty much just going to go back and back mask the whole thing. Okay, we're ready to paint the mainframe, and I was hoping somebody'd be here to give me a hand, but as usual, when you need somebody, where are they? They're out eating pizza. I want to get some silver on this and let it start drying up. Now, this is Jimmy's bike. This one was his crash last year. I want to put this on.
More than that now.
It's over years. I remember when you had this at Flushing.
It's a year and a half now.
And what we're doing, and Jimmy came up with I guess it's kind of a unique idea I never even thought of. I think he did this on his PM2, is we wanted to reference because he wants to line the wings up off the table. So you need to jack, in any sense, jack the plane up off the table equally so that the center line in the front, center line in the back is the same. Well, we don't have a lot of blocks, precision blocks around here, but the video cassettes are exactly all the same size. So by jacking up the tail and by giving a reference off the wing now, you can use IBM cards and these things as probably to shim it. You could use the IBM. I'm just thinking you could use the IBM
Yeah,
cards
that's a
too.
final shim.
But this works out to be a
Nail files work real well under the trailing edge to
yeah. And of course, if you're trying to reference something, the hardest thing of all is to get 4 inches of reference. To get a couple of thousandths is kind of easy. So anyway, it's an idea if you're doing some kind of repair or something where you need this. It seems to work real good, and he's just progressing right along here. Where the hell did he go? I just wanted to show you the latest addition to our bird family here. He just flew away. Mr. Cardinal. Every morning here's the routine. I have to feed the fish. I have to feed the birds. I have to feed my stepson. I have to feed my wife. And then I get to have my own breakfast. Anyway, the fish are really getting bigger here. And we really are having fun with them. Come on, guys. We're that camera shy. Look at this. Hard to believe. Alright, we're going to go up the club field, see if there's any air up there today. How's this guy going here?
I think it's going pretty good, but I'm going to try another prop on it now.
Hey, nice spinner.
Nice what?
Nice polished spinner.
You know what that is? An old Fox spinner.
Yeah.
Which nobody carries anymore, but Brodak found one out in his place.
He's a good guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's all right. What they doing? Spraying for mosquitoes?
Yeah. I don't want to fly while they're doing that. You could choke to death. Not a good idea to park your car where it is either.
Spraying something out of it.
See these guys, what they do? Here they come. They're coming by with the... I don't know. Yeah, they're going to come in here.
He's hitting the ditch, I think, out there.
Yeah, but they spray back in the woods here, and then for 2 hours you could choke to death.
I know. I had it happen one day. It was clouds.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to breathe that in, whatever it is.
I had to put a bandana over my head, like, my throat,
Yeah, it's terrible. They're really ridiculous with that. Let the mosquitoes eat us. Who cares?
Well, I haven't got no mosquitoes, but I've been getting them sting flies.
Yeah, the flies that eat you.
Them sting flies are sons of bitches.
Hey, I haven't seen the fox yet today. Has he been around?
Okay.
I guess Sabatino scared him off. The fox hasn't been around. No snapping turtles, no deer. God, I feel so lonesome.
I saw 2 deer about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Coming right out of that.
Yeah, they come out of the back there.
Back there, by that back circle.
Yeah. I don't know who. Yeah.
Like,
there must be a pair.
They weren't bucks.
Well, anyway, I'm going to go try to get some flights here. I got the
Yeah, I
studio.
gotta get this. This prop is probably gonna be a lot faster, you know. It's
You like those APCs?
well, PC, and it's been doing pretty good. And then Hampshire said one day, he says, you ought to try this 10.5, 4.5 APC.
Yeah, it runs faster.
So I did, yeah, and it ran faster. And it may be good in wind, but I'm going to try it again to make sure what it's doing.
The test is always, if it's wimpy in the overhead 8 and the top of the hourglass, then you know you got to go.
More revs?
Yeah, well, more revs or more pitch, one or the other.
It's a little wimpy.
Anytime you see those high RPM things, they go to the overhead 8 and it's, they're flying all over the place.
Yeah.
You can tell. It's easy.
Yeah,
You put a prop on with some pitch or diameter. A little time this morning. Yeah, I spent some time with Don. He's always a good man to have a few laughs with. That bug sprayers sprayed him like he wasn't even here. He's drowning in oil or whatever that poison they spray. The deer attack him, the fox attacks him, we're all getting attacked. Anyway, good thing we have reinforcements. Anyway, I brought up a couple more of these props to try, and the purpose of being here today is I want to get some time at the Circle Burner Field. The contest is here this weekend. Probably won't get to do much practicing by the time we do all the bullshitting and everything that goes on, but what I really would like to try to accomplish is figure out which one of these props is going to work real good or as good as possible under these conditions. And then from this contest on, we're basically just going to be trying to work on that setup. This will be the last week for this. A couple of the guys here, so I have to kind of share the circle. So I'm going to try to get a couple of before it gets really hot. Really hot. It's hot right now. Anyway, another point to always remember, as it gets hotter and hotter in the day, always want to try to get a prop with a little more pitch. Now, two of these have some Phillips entry in it. And what will probably happen is after I go back and forth with a few props, I'll wind up saving the Phillips entry one for the end, because that's usually the one that's going to work in a really hot weather. Hot, dead air, Phillips entry. Runway air, cool, low pitch. We want to give it till actually to the end of this contest. We'll be fooling with this stuff. And then we're going back to putting a double star back in the plane. Get a set of solid lines. We still haven't done that. Some 4-blade, 5-blade stuff. And then I hope at least 1 or 2 good weeks of practice for the next. I hope. Famous last probably can see by the last flight, the air is gone, and we're going to have to put a real short end to this test session. Don't want to get into any high-risk situations here. I think I'll spend the rest of the day with Don working on his jersey in here. See if we can get something working a little bit better for him. He's been having some problems. But it's been at least productive. We got a couple of good flights, but problem is, as soon as the air goes here to where it's all over the place, it gets really dangerous just to fly the plane, and I don't want to risk anything now, even a small accident. So maybe we'll just pack it in here and get back down the shop. Now today, what I'm going to try to do up here today is get the final test on what I hope will be the Super Tiger setup. And of course, that's going to go to the end of the circle burner contest, which is Sunday. But the last little thing I've been doing is I've been experimenting with different rates of back pressure by putting a 632 screw. All four of these holes are tapped for 632. I also made up what I think is going to be a prototype. It has a lot of smaller holes, and I want to set the size on this because I can make these either way. And I even have one of the old slotted ones. Now these are really super powerful. These are the ones that work good on 70+ ounce planes. Maximum power. These are kind of restrictive. I assume this one is going to be real restrictive. I also made this one special. You can see how thin the wall thickness is relative to a stock one. So it's about 4 or 5 grams lighter. Again, I've been experimenting back and forth with this. And the setup that seems to be real good for hot weather is the standard one with one screw in it. So again, by going back and forth, this is a good day to do it, just like yesterday. Lousy air. This is the worst scenario of all at the club field, is when it's like this. This flag can be going in any direction at any time, and it gets downright, anybody that's ever flown here knows it gets downright dangerous to do any real bottom wing over pullouts or anything. So, but it is a good day to do some testing. And that's why I always bring out a couple extra heads. In fact, we got this guy ready to test. He'll be one of the final ones with the 2 glow plugs. But I would like to run through the mufflers today, make a decision. It's coming up on the time when I should be finalizing everything. And I almost know for sure I don't need this one, because this one really makes a lot of power. But the restrictive ones, I'd like to get the restriction, just like the head gasketing down. And also, by filling up 1 or 2 of the screws, you can get probably 8 to 10 extra laps at the end of the flight. So by having it variable, these aren't really variable. By having it variable, you can plug up 1 or 2 of the holes. You can make it quieter or louder, more or less power. But keep in mind, anytime you put a screw in there, you're leaving heat in the motor too. So on a hot day like this, another little tip that I've found is on a hot day, I don't put the exhaust gasket in. When it really gets up above 90, pull out the exhaust gasket and just let the oil go on the plane. It just seems like a better choice. Anyway, get busy with the testing. Whenever I'm testing these, what I always do is I try what I know are the known quantity ones, and this is the one it used to be Strager's muffler. This one is one that I made up with slots for Tsunami. Needless to say, I'm not going to need it right now. But I always have some oddball ones here. This is one that's got the holes opened up really big. If I wanted to run, say, maximum power for some reason. I got a couple here of the old style where all the holes are the same size. I also had this one that has real thin walls, the Cardinal one. But by having, now see, this is even longer. By having all these choices, and of course the ones that I'm testing right now, by having all these choices, what it gives me is I can develop something rather than just say, oh, that's where it belongs and be done with it. Constant ongoing development at the field, filthy dirty. And the ones that seem to work the best, those are the ones that I can replicate for using for myself. And it's going to be time real soon. In fact, I'll probably put it on video when we go down to the shop and try to run off another batch of these guys. So should be interesting if you've never seen these made on a milling machine, once we get whatever our final muffler setup is going to be. This has been the setup that we've been working with the last, I guess, 2 weeks or so. And again, the object of all this is to get a backup motor. This will either become the 1 or the 2 motor. With the muffler, with the Venturi, with the prop sitting in the bag, the whole powertrain with the needle valve set, and have it ready should we need a spare. But again, whatever muffler is going to seem to work well on this, I'm assuming it's going to work well on the double star too, so I want to make 2 of each. And I have some of the, you can see some of the different options of plugging up the exhaust. Now when it's running wide open, needless to say, it's making the most power. With one screw or two screws in, it's kind of quiet and kind of restricted, and it has a very nice soft mute power. With a little bit more of a soft power output, it changes from the 2 to 4 very softly instead of a radical break. With the slotted mufflers, those were made when we were flying 70 and 75 ounce planes, and they really are the maximum power setups. For a ship this light, you certainly don't need anything like maximum power, and that's one of the things to keep in mind if you want to run a tongue muffler or any muffler, is you want to match the restriction to the weight of the plane, not just shoot for maximum power at any cost. See, one of the advantages, or one of the nice things about having a plane with a 60 that isn't 70 ounces is it gives you an awful lot of choices about the different hardware motor setups that you can use. When you're in the 70 to 75 ounce range, what happens is you're always shooting for maximum power. You don't really have all of the choices that you could have if the plane were a little bit lighter. This plane right now, with all the light hardware on it, and with the double star, it's well under 60 ounces, so it really gives me a lot of choices. I always have to remember to plug up the overflow pipe here. Every time I forget to do this, I wind up with a glob of raw fuel somewhere on the plane. The thing about these tests, these what I'll call square one tests, you can tell by looking at this how many flights this has on it. When I always have a square one, I already have the needle set now. When I replace it with this muffler, if I have to open up the needle, I know that this is a less restrictive setup. If I have to go in on a needle, I know it's more restrictive. I can also compare. I've been getting the pattern in about 10 to 12 laps. If all of a sudden I have 20 laps, I know the muffler is more restrictive. We're basically going to use whatever time we have left here to go back and forth with this one and the other one to see which one is the more powerful of the two, and if it is the more powerful, do we want it more powerful? Sometimes the muted soft power is good on the runway. Sometimes the radical wide open power is good at the circle burner field. You never really know, but of course it's best to have both. Of course, as we get done with the mufflers that already have been done or used or tested or not going to be tested, very convenient, keep them in a nice sandwich bag, keeps them from getting all gouged up. Well, surprisingly, the muffler with the biggest holes, the ones we started the day off with, for the conditions we're under right now, real hot, putrid, air dead, half dead, almost dead, seems to be the muffler of choice. But I don't want to drill this one out, the one with the smaller holes. I want to save that. That'll probably be just about right for a runway situation. Now, you might be tempted to think, and sometimes I think this way too, that when you go through a big test like today and you spend the whole day and then find out that the part you originally started the day with is the best, you might be thinking, kind of was a waste. Well, you know, it really isn't a waste, because this is just that many less things we have to deal with later on. See, I always have to make sure I get the little bit of fuel that stays in this tank. Well, anytime you... Now, I got this today in a goodie package from Giorgino, and he always sends me entertaining stuff, and this package is no different. Now, one of the things I've been looking for forever is the little Rotoll decals, and I see it doesn't say exactly if they have Rotolls or if they have other ones, but there's all kind of stuff in here. So what I did, today I sent away for their catalog, and if you want a catalog, it's $4. Northeast Screen Graphics, P.O. Box 304, East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, 01028. Telephone number 413-525-4110. So when I get this catalog, obviously one of the things I'm going to search for diligently are those little the little identifying things that identify the manufacturer of the propeller. Again, always good to have catalogs, always good to save them. is a cool little old nostalgic Spitfire stunner, semi-scale of course, with kind of unique fuse construction. Here, a lot of longerons and stringers, and has all the ribs laid out. I don't know which version this is or who designed it. It shows you how cool I am. But anyway, hey, little carved exhaust stacks. Anyway, George always sends me the most interesting things. And boy, oh boy. Now, just for reference, I want to show Adamusco. Look at how big he made, what they did. They put the flaps and the trailing edge on a swept forward hinge line. I'm not a big believer or a fan of swept forward hinge lines. Cut out the stab. I always look around. You know, it never hurts to have extra little radiators. Never hurts to have extra little stuff to check out, to look at, get some inspiration from. Probably could make a little rig wetter there. Anyway, there's some more really cool stuff that George sent in here. We'll go into this. I'll just run through this real quick. But say anybody that has an interest in doing some kind of exotic, and this is really exotic, carbon fiber D-box shell. Now the reason he sent this is he knows that Adamusco and I, in fact, look at this, it's a 4-part article, and of course George sends all 4 of the magazines, not bad. I'm going to take this, look at it, and it shows how to make wing jigs and formers, and believe me when I tell you, these guys that make, and I've been over to Jeff Stifel's house, the guys that make these soaring models really have high-tech materials part 6. Whoa, this may be, we may be getting in over our head here. There's more to this than meets the eye. They really have some technology when it comes to using carbon fiber parts. And we're going to really be trying, now of course we're going to try to do that I-beam or carbon beam. Joe hasn't even come up with the final word on exactly what he wants to use. They vacuum bag everything, and maybe we can get somebody that's in the sailplane glider industry to give us some tips. I'm going to check all this stuff out. See, this makes great reading. I may not get this right back to George, but this makes great reading. And there's another point. Hey, look at this Thunderbolt glider. There's another point to all this. There's always interesting things all over the world that are interesting just for the fact that they're interesting. Look at some of this stuff. Look at this. B2s. Anyway, the world is full of interesting things. Everywhere I look, I find interesting things, and especially since getting involved in building a pond, my tadpoles are getting ready to be... Look at some of this stuff. Anyway, George, I appreciate it, and I really do thank you for sharing this stuff. George has probably one of the biggest magazine collections I've ever seen. And there's another point to all this. And then there's a point. George calls me usually on a Monday night, and we chit-chat for a half an hour or so. Usually, I find out that hey, look at this, that's a nice model. I find out he is really a modeler's modeler. And what I mean by that is he's always thinking of new, look at all the scale models, always thinking of new things, new techniques, new ideas, and always going back and forth with, I don't even know how to explain it, just a great conversation. He always gives me some ideas, he always gives me some inspiration to go try to come up with something better, something lighter. The magazines are great. George, I appreciate it a whole lot, and this will definitely become part of the new carbon I-beam, Seafire, Spitfire, whatever that's going to evolve into. Thanks a lot. Now, I had sent Dave up this spinner cone just to see a test, to get some idea of how this would work out. And it's rough, it doesn't even have a finish on. In fact, it's got one real bad spot here I can see. But just to see, now he sent me back, and you can see it. No, he doesn't have Easter eggs. You can see he made a couple dozen of them. And it picked up all the detail, including a little flaw. And we're not really interested in that right now. What I'm going to do with this, and I won't do it today, I'll probably do it tomorrow, is I want to clip one of these and find out the exact diameter that it'll fit on my back plate. See, I left enough room when I made the plug. Then I want to do a real, make sure I have the perfect size that I need so that I can replicate it, and then that'll become a permanent mold. And how much quicker will it be to make spinner cones like this, and how much lighter? You can imagine. This is tough material, by the way. There's no way you can, I mean, you know, that'll take a beating. Anyway, we're hoping that's going to be the next step up for our spinner technology, and that will be coming within the next week or so, because I want to get one of these as a test before we actually get ready to finalize the plane with the double star or without the double star for the Nats. Either way, I want to have that in the bank when we leave for Muncie. Now these are one of the ones that we've been using, one of the spare ones. Let's see what the weight is on this. Get an idea if these are going to be lighter by how much. They also have a side benefit. It's always very hard to drill the screws. The screw holes are extremely difficult to get in because you can't see through the material. Being clear material, you can see right through it. This looks like we're about 17 and a half. 17 and a half is the part we're using. The part we're using is significantly lighter. It's under 6. So we've cut 11 grains, almost a ½ ounce lighter, if we can get one of these finalized up, and I'm hoping we are. But again, it's this constant experiment and constantly trying to make this just as good as it can be. Now, if this really pans out to be exactly what I want, I'll repair the mold and put a real nice finish on this, and these will be a part of our program. Now, the reason they're so good is any of these, the resin always drips down into the tip and they get heavy. Then you have to grind it out, and you always make thin spots, and you have to fill them in with Bondo. Boom. This might be the world's lightest spinner. I don't know. Keep thinking I have it. Anyway, and especially now the Seafire, that's one of the things that I've been making myself crazy trying to make it as light in the nose as possible. That's one of the reasons we're going to the double star. Anyway, Dave Midgley, thanks a lot. Looks like we're going to be able to use these. The concern, these are the back plates that Ron made. I wanted to be sure that we have a good fit. I don't know how much better than that yet. I think that's going to be fine. And it's rigid enough, and I'm sure the screws won't hurt. Alright, so looks like we got one more part to work with. One more option. And this is what I've done, is I've cast up another one of these, and I'm going to make this another final plug. Rather than repair this looks like it's kind of ginky. And we really just did this as a test, but I will put a real nice finish on this. I'll get this, put some water on this and get this out of the mold, and then use this. This is right out of the rubber plug. That'll be it should be a perfect fit, in fact. And this is the one that we picked out of 3 that we made for the Seafire. So I'm just going to trim this off, get rid of the PVA, and then get a real nice finish on here. This one is kind of flawless anyway. Now it's only a question of, now that that's trimmed back, see, I left a little bit of overlap here so that I can trim it exactly how I want it, and now I can just get rid of this, put this in the drawer. This will become, you can see, this is what the important part of this whole thing was, is getting this contour. When it's too blunt, it looks terrible, and when it comes to a point, it starts to look like a Vico spinner. So I'll make sure I get, in fact, I got a rush here. I want to get this in today's mail to Midgley. Yeah, that cleaned up real nice. I want to rush because I want to get this in today's mail. I think this is going to be part of our program. Okay, thanks for joining us, and I hope to see you on the next tape. I hope by the next tape we have some of these back from Midgley. Looking forward to getting some of that nose weight out of the Seafire. See you on the next tape. Please pass them around. Don't hoard the information. It's not yours to hoard, or it isn't mine either. It isn't even Midgley's. Hey, who does own this stuff anyway? The Cardinals do. See you on the next tape.